here are your drawings for the tunnel, the
The
soul
skull.
train
Yeah.
tunnel platform, and a concept drawing. And
They were, yeah, that was a tough one because
that had to be really hard.
again, yeah, no, you don't know
I have
you,
the
you know,
train here. I also have all these pictures of you guys making the train, which is unbelievable.
totally just throw away, oh, what should we do? Let's get a New York subway train and make it look like a skull and have it drive through.
Yeah,
I mean, it was again, when you write this stuff, I think people then forget you've actually got to do it.
yeah. Yeah, writers
And I
don't.
think
Yeah.
there was initially a conversation. It's like, oh yeah, we can just go to a real subway station, can't we? And it's like, nah, not really, no, because it's
Not
the
with those
underworld.
light fixtures, we can't. Like,
Exactly, no. Sadly, those light fixtures didn't make it into the final set,
I know. I
but
don't think I have a wide. I don't think I have a wide of that, but I had this. But yeah, those are great too. But I have to sidebar. Like sometimes the when you do the concept drawings, and it's like, oh, those lights don't exist. Like, and you're like, no, man, some guy just drew this up. I can't just. I would have to make them. We can make them, but like,
they were one of the times I failed actually those lights because I really loved them. They were from a reference picture of like a Russian oligarch sort of
hmm.
1970s seaside mansion. He had the swimming pool with those lights over the top of it, and I just absolutely loved them. So I painstakingly made them the Eva that did this illustration at the bottom, um, made her model them up and drop them in, and for whatever reason, Tim did not like them. So he
Oh,
liked everything else. He did not like those lights, so we changed them.
odd, Tim.
I know it's very, but I think
Disagree
that's
with
it's
you there, but
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting with Tim. Sometimes it'll be a little detail that he
yeah.
really, no, I don't like that. Everything else is great, but that's got to go. Okay,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
modeling the train had to be, I mean, that's no small feat. And then,
No,
and then, I mean, the staircase and then having the choreography of the dancers and, working with that in the set and making sure they had enough.
yeah, they really hated me for that set.
Well, they shouldn't. It looked fantastic and they
No,
looked
no, but
dancing on it.
and
So,
they were very good about it, the choreographers. But the dancers, obviously not one single set you can see on that image. None of them are straight, none of them are even, and they had all these 70s
oh,
platform heels
right.
on, trying to do this choreographed dance down it,
It was
which
platforms.
which to their credit they absolutely nailed it. But
Yeah.
people were regularly tripping over them.
I didn't realize the lifts were different.
Everything's and they're not none of them are on the same
Threads.
angle. None of them are the same. Yes, I mean the construction team weren't thrilled building them either, but such is what we were trying to create. It was important, and you can
But
see
then
all.
at a certain point, you're like, well, is it wrong? Like,
No, well, I mean that's definitely one of the things with this film and a lot of these films where it's literally out of your head.
yeah,
You really have to stick with your guns about
right,
it.
right. Is it wrong
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one's shorter, even though
Is,
I drew it longer?
is this, have I lost my mind? Is this
Yeah,
right?
I'm
Should I
gonna
be
make
doing?
them redo the whole thing because,
Yeah.
and
Because
you are,
even the tiles on the back wall, the subway tiles on there, they're all, not one of those is the same.
yeah.
They're all wibbly wobbly, wonky shapes. They're nothing. So,
Wow.
yes, it was fun, but not fun at the same time. For everybody.
And then this set, I just thought, I mean, the set, it's the check-in. Is it the check-in?
Yeah. Passport, it's called
Like
Passport and
passport?
Immigration.
Yeah.
Yes. Which was Tim's sort of, I would say homage, but it's not homage. It's basically he hates airport like customs where you've got to have those horrible snakes of everybody lining up for hours to get their passport stamp. That's one of his pet hates. So this was his sort of nod to that. But I mean, you hardly see it in the film actually, which is a
It's
shame. But
quick. It is. That's what I was going to say. It's like this huge set that was pretty quick.
mm. But I
But
think it's funny. It was. I mean, I designed it when it had a bit of a bigger part originally, and
mm,
it sort of made well, not more sense, but it just had there was more in it.
yeah.
Um, and then it got cut back, and then I think there was a move at that point. They were like, well, we don't need this big set anymore. We can, let's cut it down or get rid of it or make it smaller or whatever else. And actually, I think a few of us sat down and were like, do you know what? there's not many moments in the film where it goes big, you know,
Right.
it it sort of almost was nice that it didn't do it for very long, but you just did have that moment where you had a grandeur, more, space to be in. But it was also nice that it was kind of throwaway. It was like
Well,
we did this huge thing, but we're just going to shoot it in, two ways and then move on.
what was your influence there for the gold? Is that supposed to be like souls? Like, is that special? Because
Well, again, it was a little bit of a more of a story point, but actually all through the sets of the underworld, there's the pneumatic sort
oh
of
yeah,
document tubes.
right.
So
Oh
that's
right.
meant to be where they all come together in one big sort of
Oh
pulsating, I don't know, sort of jugular running through the middle of the set. And then they all had to go off, and in each one of those little windows had the tube coming out the bottom of them.
right.
Um, which was the idea. And it was meant to be sort of wildly impossible, that there's some bit of it's hugely inflated, then it goes down to a tiny bit and then bulges out, sort of much more sinewy and muscular than anything you could really do with those golds.
But
Sort
it's
of
really a lot of movement, like with how it's lit and everything. It's just there's such movement in that one in that
yeah.
piece.
I mean, it was meant to be a big sort of sculptural statement running through the middle of it, which it was, and it was all polysculpted. That in the end, the
Oh,
polysculptors did a fantastic job of making that work. Um, but it was a fun set. I mean, the filing cabinets alone drove my art directors mad trying to get all those right.
I'm sure. Did they
But
number? They're all numbered and
they're all numbered, yes,
and
of
like
course they
yes.
are.